always comes back to starting fast. When you get down and you're only getting 3 plays in the first series, your run game's not going to be super strong. It starts with me with IDs and getting everybody on the right page, and then everybody else just making sure everybody's ironed out. Systems like this, it might look the same to most people, but each run has a lot of little intricacies, and so it's really just making sure you lock into those little intricacies and iron it out, and when you lock in on all those little things, that's when you have those big runs, and the 4-yard runs, the 8-yard runs turn into 20, 30, 40-yard runs.
Connor, what have you seen from Mike this week working with him and in practice?
I've been really impressed. He has a lot of confidence. He feels good in this system. He's like I said, just full of confidence. And when you have a quarterback, I think, in my opinion, confidence is one of the most important things. It's a position that is really, really difficult. It's a position that you touch the ball every play, so you do have a lot of effect on the outcome of the game. So if you don't have the confidence, I don't, it's not gonna be there. But he definitely is full of confidence, and like I said, that's the most important thing. And obviously, he has the smarts and the arm strength to get it done. So I think he's had a great week of practice, and I'm excited to be there for his first start.
Have you worked with him much, for the center quarterback relationship?
Not quite as much this year, with Zach being young. It's primarily been just Zach and I. We did have some work last year, a little bit more with a little bit older quarterback room last year. So, but he hasn't played a lot of games, but he's been around the NFL a little bit, so he's pretty veteran in that aspect, to where he and I can go in, and we've been around football a long time, and it's a pretty easy transition. So from the first snap of last week to the first snap of practice, I felt good.
Connor, when watching the first series against New England, looked like there was some communication problems. There was a free runner on the one running play from the middle, free runner on the sack. Are you guys still kind of working through the communication things?
That's kind of New England's goal. That's what New England does to win football games, is to try to confuse you, try to get you off. There's a lot of rules that go into it, and on that third down is, I think, one of the hardest things was 54 wasn't in, Hightower was out. So knowing his backup, and they brought a new guy in with 58, and so I think some of that it's literally what New England's prides themselves on, and they're really good at it, is making you make mistakes, and then they win football games. So, it works really, really well for them. So, we've had weeks where the communication's been really good, and weeks it hasn't been quite as good. So, that all starts with me, and it's something that we've been working on since the first day of OTAs, is making sure everybody's on the same page, and especially with this offense that does take a lot of communication to get to the right mic points and get all that stuff done. So something like that, and especially when you're in a loud environment, it's something that a younger team really needs to practice, and we're working really hard at it, and I think we're growing all the time, and when you have the good games, it gives you a lot of confidence that all this practice has been producing something. So it definitely wasn't our best showing of that last week, but we'll keep building on the good games we've had and keep going from there.
What do you see from this Bengals front? They've gotten a lot of sacks. Looking at the stat sheet.
Yeah, I'd say what is most impressive about this Bengals front is their discipline. They just play solid defense. They're always in the right gaps. They don't have any young players. They have a lot of guys that have been on this defense 2 or 3 years, and they are just a solid defense from the front to the back end. They might not have a ton of superstars. You might not, they don't got a Myles Garrett or a Von Miller, but they are a solid defense. And that comes down to communication and details. To beat a defense like this, you have to have all those intricacies ironed out, and you have to have the right calls, and you have to use the right technique and have the right aiming points, because if you don't, they're going to be in the right spot and they're going to make the play. So the you kind of say they kind of win a lot of football games off of guys just being a little off. You watch film and you'll think, wow, it's the start of the play, the first 2 seconds of a play, you're like, wow, that's a really good block. And just they didn't quite finish it right, and the Bengals make a great play. So it's going to be a great test, and they're a really good defense.
With the first quarter struggles, just what's your take on why that's happening, and how do you balance obviously wanting to get it fixed, not letting it become like a mental thing where you're pressing early in games as an offense?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's gotten to that point where, definitely there's a difference in the NFL between panic and urgency. We are very urgent to get that fixed. And, again, that starts with me. So, the teams have come out and a lot of different looks. And, it's something that, again, we've been lacking a little bit on the small details of that first series. And then we go to the sidelines and we look at the pictures. We know what we're getting that week. And, we come out and not always the second series, but we start driving after that. Last week we started driving on the second series. So, we just can't let it do. We just can't have that. I need to be able to diagnose it on the field instead of wait till the sidelines and get everybody on the right page. And all 11 of us need to be able to do that and stick to our rules, and whatever they come out in, just be able to fall back under our rules and go that way, and move the ball that way.